like that? Huh? You like that? Wah! You just tune this out, don't you? Wah! Well, tune this out! Wah!
These are the worst things Brian Griffin has ever done in Family Guy, and the list is more than a little cringe-worthy. Now, we all know Brian's got his fair share of flaws, but sometimes it feels like he goes out of his way to be a complete jerk. I mean, how is it possible for a talking dog to be this insufferable?
Hurry! I can't hold it!
Okay, let me just unstrap my baby.
Oh, slipping, sorry.
Most of the time, he's just, well, a walking disaster. And let's be real, he usually brings his misfortune upon himself. Brian's overconfidence leads him to believe he's better than everyone else, which, spoiler alert, he is not.
I'm a dog. I'm good.
I'm a dog. I'm good. It went poorly. And we'll sneak out the back. We need a weapon. Instead of being the responsible adult, he lets his overconfidence get the best of him, and the consequences are just as disastrous as you'd expect. Now, let's kick off this countdown and dive into the worst of Brian Griffin. 1. Violating Sea Breeze. Oh my god, he's violating Sea Breeze! Oh no, he's just awkwardly positioning himself. Now he's violating Sea Breeze, Peter. If you're still under the impression that Brian Griffin is anything other than a dog, I hate to break it to you. Brian is a dog, and, as is often the case with dogs, they can be driven by hormones that lead them to engage in some truly cringe-worthy behaviors. For instance, you can take Brian in love. When he was unknowingly infatuated with Lois, he had a series of unfortunate accidents. It was only after a trip to therapy that those incidents stopped. And then now again, Brian finds himself grappling with those same urges yet again. This time, with much more overt physicality. At one point, he even delivers a classic excuse. Yeah, right, cookies. He completely loses control, and instead of opting for the responsible route of therapy, he decides to join the Griffins and the Pewterschmidts on vacation. Brilliant choice, right? During this trip, he meets Carter's prized pup, Sea Breeze.
Come over here and meet Sea Breeze, my prize-winning dog. Isn't she a perfect specimen? I mean, look at these legs and that beautiful coat. And feel the heat coming off of her genitalia. You could roast a marshmallow. That's how you can tell she's a champion. Go on!
Yes, she is a beautiful dog. Sea Breeze is a champion racer, and Brian is, let's say, captivated by her pheromones. Whatever it is, it's definitely not good. During the big race, Brian makes a spectacularly bad choice and leaps onto the track, doing what dogs do. Gross! Seriously, people are watching. There might even be kids. 2. Brian writes a bestseller. I know many of you have been thinking of seeing Married with Cancer, the two-parter where Brian marries a woman with 2 weeks left to live. But it didn't sit well with a lot of viewers. Why, you ask? Well, let's break it down. In that two-parter, Brian didn't seek attention or moral superiority. No, his major flaw was his failure to think through the consequences of his actions. And his relationship with Jess? It was barely a relationship. More like a series of random hookups. See you after my hip surgery. He won't be needing this anymore, thanks. Goodbye, Brian. Well, you mean, see you soon, right? Wait, why won't I need my collar? His bond with Stewie is the biggest relationship neglect. It's like olive juice, rotten, pungent, and definitely not something you want to sip on. Fast forward to Brian writes a bestseller. Our canine friend discovers his latest novel, Faster Than the Speed of Love, is a colossal flop. Disillusioned with the world of writing, Brian decides he must prove to everyone, including himself, that he's worthy of respect and adoration. In a fit of spite, he churns out a self-help book, Wish It Wanna Do It, in just one day.
You were when I made the reservation.
Look, I have written a best-selling phenomenon. I should be sitting in the front damn room.
Now don't get me wrong, I don't advocate writing essays at the last minute. South Park takes 6 days to churn out an episode, while Our Smart Bryn took just 3 hours to craft. You could write a book in a day, and it could either be brilliant or utterly awful after 40 years of effort. Brian's? Yeah, it's a mess. Mostly just blank pages. You know what? If people are into junk, I'll dish it out. Somehow, this book becomes a bestseller. Fame quickly goes to Brian's head, and he transforms into an even bigger self-righteous jerk. Oh boy, does he always come off that way? This time, it's more pronounced. By the end of the episode, he gets his moment on Bill Maher. A dream of mine, honestly. And while waiting backstage, he unloads on Stewie.
I am so sorry. I am done with you. Do you hear me? Done. Get out of here now. Brian, please. You're fired.
Well, look at that. He's practically his only friend at this point. But when he finally faces Bill Maher, he gets the public humiliation he deserves.
What do you want? I wrote it in a day. Listen, Bill, I am such a big fan of yours. I think you're totally getting the wrong impression of me. I was just trying to write something that would sell. I think it's crap, too.
Wow. If I had even one shred of respect for you before this, it's gone now.
Has E.L. James ever been on Bill Maher? I wouldn't be surprised if this is how it goes down. Still, Brian returns home, pretending to have learned a lesson.
Knock knock. Hey, Stewie.
What do you want?
I just want to talk to you about everything that happened. You were the only person who believed in me when I was down. This all happened so fast, and I lost sight of who I was. I mean, sure, you were in a little over your head, but...
Whoa. I was in over my head?
Yeah, but Stewie, this isn't about all the things you did wrong. It's about me apologizing.
Okay, then apologize.
I just did.
The apology he is offering? Super hollow.
All right, Stewie, I'm sorry that I made you uncomfortable and put you in a situation that you clearly couldn't handle.
Now, why did this episode outshine the others? He didn't own up to his behavior as much as he did here, where he insulted his closest buddy after finally hitting it big. Brian is the ultimate cautionary tale about letting pride, lust, and arrogance cloud your better judgment. Brian was willing to throw his morals under the bus for some recognition, but in the end, all he had was a pile of unsold books. 3. Brian's misstep with Alcoholics Anonymous. It seems like modern-day cartoons aren't exactly the biggest cheerleaders for Alcoholics Anonymous. Take Brian and Peter's latest adventure. They go to the movies, and Peter, being Peter, decides to sneak in some booze.
Hey, I already seen this movie. Let's talk about other movies we've seen.
That's an excellent idea. I like the madness of King George. Alcohol? Really, Peter? You couldn't have smuggled in something more exciting, like a burger or fries? Maybe a homemade dish like tater tots? Things get worse when they're busted and end up being forced to attend AA meetings. Naturally, Brian is less than enthusiastic. At the first meeting, he acts like a total jerk, mocking everyone for their sobriety. It's hard not to think of BoJack Horseman's Sarah Lynn, echoing a similar sentiment. But Brian...
They've just traded one addiction for another. Their life goes from being all about drinking to being all about AA. The only difference is when it's all about drinking, they're more fun.
Being Brian takes things even further. In the next meeting, he and Peter actually bring booze to the group and hand it out to everyone. Even Beavis and Butthead accidentally got people drunk because they were clueless teens, not because they were intentionally sabotaging anyone like Brian is doing here. Then, as if the situation couldn't get any worse, the police arrive after a noise complaint. To cover their tracks, the AA group breaks into a rousing chorus of Mr. Booze, distracting the officers.
Wow, you guys, I'm impressed that you're taking your sentence so seriously, and I know that the court will be happy to hear this too.
Brian handing alcohol to recovering addicts just to dodge his own accountability is one of the lowest things he's done. He didn't care about anyone else's well-being. Typical Brian. Instead of taking responsibility like an adult, he tried to drag everyone down with him.
Hold it together, Brian. Hold it together. Come on, you know you want to drink. Yeah, come on, Brian, drink us. Come on, drink me. What are you waiting for?
They're waiting for you, your big silly ass. Just wrap your lips around me and take a big gulp. Get super chopped off. 小朋友怕 snell down. For lying to a blind girl.
Next time. Some things are worth waiting for.
Wow, you're really a true gentleman.
Yep. Not too many of us left.
But as we know, some things will just never happen. Like a chicken flying high in the sky. Similarly, Brian Griffin will never find a girl he can see as his equal because, well, he's too wrapped up in his own ego. Things are going smoothly until Brian discovers a bit of a snag. Kate isn't a fan of dogs.
Ugh, our stupid neighbor's dog barks 24/7. God, I hate dogs.
You do?
Yeah, they're just slobbery, annoying, needy little bastards. I'm just not really a dog person, I guess.
Oh, yeah, me neither. I think Quagmire should be the one date with Kate because he hates dogs like Kate too. Now Brian, trying to keep his secret under wraps, replies,
Dog people can get pretty annoying.
Good save, Brian. So now Brian's in a dilemma. What's he gonna do? Tell Kate the truth that he's a dog? Nope. Instead, he cooks up all sorts of lies just to stay in her good graces. And her bed. Like this cringe moment.
Ah, the winds of Paris. Isn't that what they say?
Oh, that breeze is gorgeous. And I think I smell croissants?
Do you? You have an amazing sense of smell.
Eventually, Kate wants Brian to meet her parents. Problem is, her parents can actually see. So Brian tries to disguise himself as a human. This one's a hero. You know what happened? Rescued 2 children from a burning building. Can you imagine? Not quite in time, though. They were both horribly burned. They've got that sort of creme brulee phase going on now. But he saved their lives. Oh my god, Brian. I know, right? So noble. Plus, he's the only one of my patients who's never asked me for handwork. Such a gentleman. Eventually, the charade falls apart, and Brian is exposed for lying. Kate isn't thrilled.
You know what, Brian? I could have gotten over the fact that you're a dog, because I really do care about you, and I feel like we had a connection. But I can't get over the fact that you lied to me. You screwed up, Brian.
And just like that, Brian learned that the truth is a harder pill to swallow than any lie he could tell. So, what do you think about Brian's approach to love and honesty? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more hilarious commentary. Until next time, keep it real.